Hi, today I'd like to show you the option we have in TraceAll for tracking assets. It allows you to move inventory, know inventory, but it doesn't allow you to produce products. It's just for tracking where inventory is. So once again, we have the security login that is present in all of the versions. And what you can see here is I have a company called Staging RS, and it is a real estate staging company. So it's chairs and stuff like that they would use for staging a house. The central view is very simple. It just tells you how many you have of a bedding item, how many sofas, how many desk lamps. And when you go to the inventory page, you'll have better view of what your inventory is and what the status is, where it's located. But if we go back to the main menu, you can see that there's a lot of buttons that have been removed from this process or from this version simply because they don't make sense. You can receive goods and you can do inventory control and you can do some reports. And over on the right hand side, you can set up your business. Your parts, things that you buy, are still available. You can set attributes to them. So we can see some of the, let's look at bedding. So we want to have an attribute for the color and for the size. The attributes, like all other versions, you can have as many as you want. They are user definable, and you can have different ones assigned to different types of products or parts. Where you buy things from, storage and equipment, which would be where you want to have your inventory located. So currently what I have is I have a Waterloo warehouse, lost and found, a house that we're doing showing for right now, Toronto warehouse, and we're going to go through the process of what would you do to put a room grouping together, what would you do for a house grouping, and then how would you go about moving the inventory to those locations. Let's go back and look at administration. One of the things that you're going to do first of all is if you want a new location, you would go through some of the different setup features under storage and equipment. Add new location. So this is the name of the new house that you want to show at. Just as an example, let's say 13. And we can put in whatever comments you want. You can say contract 4567 and have starting date or whatever you want. So that is a location that is in your database, and you can see that there's ability to edit it, print a tag for it, or delete the location because there are no inventory items that are at Beats Street. So now that we have a location defined, let's go through and let's look at the room groupings that we want to move to this house. So we go to inventory. Like I said, this is going to give you a better view of all the inventory. So you can see this particular view that I have is by location and material name. We can choose a different layout, and once again, you can make as many layouts as you want, and how you define the columns is up to you. Let's use the application default, which gives you all the information for all the different pieces of individual inventories. I want to make a new one. Let's say let's put it on room grouping. So you would grab the room grouping and put it up at the top, and you can see that you have in this room grouping, office, modern 1, you have 3 items, and you have pink bed grouping that has also bedding and 2 pillows. Let's say I really like this view. So I can do actually save layout, and I can call it saying by grouping, room, by room grouping, save the layout. Okay, so now I can see it on my list here. I can see by room grouping. So if I load location, or if I load by room grouping, it changes my view to what I've set before. So these particular room groupings, I would like to stage them at that new house. So let's move the room groupings, select the grouping to move. So I want my modern one to go to 13 Dietz, and let's move that. And let's move the bedding, let's say pink bedding, goes to also 13 Dietz, move the room grouping. Now if we go back to inventory, refresh the inventory, we can see that by location, material name, so we would have at 13 Dietz, we have some bedding, we have some desk lamps, we have office chairs, and 2 pillows. If we want to change our layout to by room grouping, now we know that room grouping modern 1 is at 13 Dietz. So there's multiple ways that you can look at it. So we've decided what we want to move to that house. Now let's go to the process of getting those items, scanning the barcodes, and finding the right location, right inventory to move to that location. So we would go to cycle count. Cycle count is something that you would use to identify and locate your products and make sure that you've picked the right things. So let's start a new cycle count. So we want to, where is it right now? Or where do we want it to move to? 13 Dietz. And the grouping that we want to have is pink bed. So we continue. So now it's going to have 13 Dietz, pink bed. These are the items that we should find in our warehouse and put it on the truck to make sure that the items are found. So let's do the count inventory, and it comes up with a list of things that we need to select. The bedding, pink pillows, and using this unique inventory ID, which is a barcode that can be placed on the product and scanned with the barcode scanner to find that specific item. So you always know that item, not just the type of item, but that item goes to that location. So you can use this button here to find, or you can actually pretend, I'll just pretend that I scanned it, right? So pretend your staff is going through with a scanner with this page open, and they would actually barcode scan the tag, and it would say, oh, I found it. And let's do another one. Found that one also. And if they put another one in here that, let's say it's not found, scan, it's going to come up and say, it's not part of this cycle count. Do you want to search for it in all locations? So it basically would say, this is not something that you should be picking. So you say no, they find the right location, right inventory item, and scan it. Everything is found. Confirm. Put any notes here, you know, there's a scratch on this desk or whatever, and save as complete. So now you can say that you can also look at the history. So this one I just finished, and you found those particular items. Let's do another one. Start a new cycle count, and we're going to do it on 13 Dietz, and we're going to do it on the modern #1 office. Once again, it's going to tell you what items that you need to find in that location. You go through the same thing. So basically the process is put together a grouping for a house, and it consists of groups of items which you define yourself. You can, in this case, it was pink bed and office number, or modern #1 office. So it would give you the ability to find those items and mark them as found. So now if you go back and if you look at your inventory, main page stays the same. But if you go to the inventory and you see that your, let's choose a layout by location, load this, You can see at 13 deets we have this room grouping and this room grouping, and the items within it are that. So now if you go back to storage and locations, you can't get rid of deets because it's got inventory in it. Time passes by and you want to know how long they've been there, you can actually go to inventory and go to location history, and it tells you where things have been, how long they've been there, and you can see that our contract for 13 deets has got these two different items. Okay, so we have a different contract for that house. Showing is done. We want to have things move back to our warehouse. All you do is you go back to inventory. And once again, you can do a cycle count for this move to make sure that you have the right things going back to your location or to your warehouse. But let's just move them. We're going to move them back to the, or we're going to have this one, and we're going to move it to the Waterloo warehouse. And we're going to move the pig bed to this location, or Waterloo warehouse. Now we go back to inventory and refresh it. You can see that in our Waterloo warehouse, let's look at the by room grouping. Okay, so pink bed is now in the Waterloo warehouse. Okay, you're done with the location, so you can go back if you want to, and you can actually delete it now that it's empty. Okay, so it's if you want to clean up your inventory locations. Basically, that's asset tracking in a nutshell through TraceAll. Hopefully this is giving you a good idea of what you can use your the product for. You can track anything you want, make as many locations. I didn't touch on it, but you can make categories so that you can actually sort things. Hopefully this has been beneficial and informative to you. Thanks. Bye-bye.